Is that your name? Is that your social security number? As I said earlier, I do want to remind you, I'm going to be initially looking at a document called Public and Private. You can download it from the foundation website, welcome to the foundation.com. Just go to I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna go to the website with y'all. Welcome to the foundation.com. On the main page, you just tap PDF. There's a little icon for PDF. It'll bring you down there. Click on all documents. It's alphabetical order. Go down to P. It's public and private. Go ahead and click on that down arrow and grab that. So we're all looking at the same thing. Because that's where I'm gonna start. But first, I definitely want to say this. I want to say peace to everyone. This show right here is not to upset anyone. It's not to go at, your favorite guru or whatever. 'Cause, I don't really get into any of that. I'm here to do my dance. Now I can't see no one else's dance. But the bottom line is, when it comes to the basic understanding, and here at the foundation, speaker of truth, I'm only going to speak the truth. So when it comes to truth, let's talk about the truth of basic understandings of public versus private. So let's pull up this public versus private document. And if you look at it right at the top, you can see public and private. And if you don't have the document, that's cool. I'm just going to go over it. But it starts out with natural law. So I'm going to talk about jurisdictions. So I'm not going to pull out a law dictionary, because I feel like everyone can pull out a law dictionary. But I'm going to tell you my layman's terms, like what I would tell, one of my family members. They'd be like, yo, so could you please describe to me what jurisdictions are and the difference between different jurisdictions? Cool. I'd love to. Particularly, jurisdictions are bodies of law that encompass areas of law and enforcement. Now, some people might say, what are you talking about? So I come under the enforcement, I come under the enforcement in the body of law called natural law. And I think this is one of the main components that everyone forgets. Everyone. We lose it. And this is perpetuated by the public, so don't feel so bad, because this is, done on purpose. But I am a natural being. Some would say supernatural, but I am of the Creator. And we won't even get into what the name of the Creator is, because I want to keep it as neutral as possible. And I come under the laws that were put into existence by the Creator, the laws of nature. I sleep at night, I wake up, my nails grow, I have to clip them, my hair grows, I have to cut it. Look, this happens naturally. I cannot stop my facial hair from growing. Some people might say, oh, you go into a meditation, you can be like, I haven't seen it. I haven't done it. I'm not feeling it. The law of nature dictates that my hair on my face will continue to grow. If I want to keep it in a particular way, I'm going to shave it. The law of nature dictates that there are equal parts of day and night, depending on what time of year it is. The law of nature dictates that in some areas of the earth there are 4 seasons. In some areas of the earth there are 2. That happens naturally. We as humans have nothing to do with that. how it came into existence. Now, through potential, technology, Mother Nature can be messed with, so on and so forth. I'm not going to get into that. But what I'm saying is, I exist under the laws of nature, so natural law, and we can say is a jurisdiction. Okay? Moving forward, that's natural law. If you're looking at public-private, in parentheses, you got God's law, the law that the Creator put into place. 7 principles, that's in Proverbs 9:11, the Kabbalion 7 principles, 7 laws of, 7 Hermetic principles, 7 laws of nature, 7 principles of nature, mentalism, gender correspondence. You can check that out. I'm not going to get into that. But these things are natural. I want to say that. So when I look at jurisdiction, I come under the jurisdiction of the Creator and those laws that the Creator has placed into nature. Me. Specific. I'm going to talk about resident in a second. Now, positive law. Positive is man-made law. Man is a trustee of natural law. You look at the Bible, you look at it and so on, however you want to look at it. Even if you're not looking at any, supposed holy text or alleged holy text, or whether it's alleged or not, however you look at it, I don't know. There are specific natural laws, and if you look at it objectively and scientifically, man is the highest natural being walking the earth that we know of. Of all the other animals, so on and so forth, we have the highest intellect. We can create stuff, airplanes, bombs, baby carriages, so on and so forth. We didn't create the earth, but we control the earth for the benefit of the beneficiaries, the next generations. And if you ask me, we were put on this earth by the Creator and given control, given this earth in trust. We don't own it, we just control it. So positive law. Positive law is man-made law. Trustees, natural law. So we're and I want to point out, from natural law, there is a reduction to positive law. That is a reduction of law, a lower, less. Okay? Less. Positive law, substantive law, this part of law that creates, defines, and regulates rights, including, for example, the law of contracts, torts, wills, and real property, the essential substance of rights under law. Now you have equally procedural law and remedial law, with the procedure and the remedies for lack of procedure or torts of the procedure or lack of those all come from, substantive law. So notice this is the law of contracts, torts, wills, and real property. Substance of rights under law. Reduced one more level, another lower level jurisdiction. Oh, let me back up. Natural jurisdiction, substantive law, contract jurisdiction. It's a reduction of natural jurisdiction. I cannot exist in a contract. A reference to I can exist in a contract. Substantive law, when you're thinking of jurisdiction, the way I look at it, since I'm talking, you got natural law, jurisdiction, natural jurisdiction, substantive law, contract jurisdiction, reduced now, one more time, to public law. Public law is the body of law dealing with the relations between private individuals and the government, and with the structure and operation of the government itself. Constitutional law, criminal law, and administrative law taken together. You can throw in international law in there, and just for clarification and to be very specific and precise, you can throw commercial law in there. At least two reductions. And invariably, conversely, with public law, we have private law. Private law, the body of law dealing with private persons and their property and relationships. This being contract law, tort law, status law, and property law. The body of law dealing with the relations between private individuals and the government. I was considering myself private. I'm actually private by nature. I don't take this in connotation. But seriously, we've got different jurisdictions. When it boils down to jurisdictions, think of the natural law. A lot of people reference Tupac's, only God can judge me. That's natural law. When you get into substantive law and contract law, the specific procedures and remedies to the performance or lack of performance, consideration or lack of consideration with regards to contracts. Torts, wills, and obviously real property. These, all form, rights of substance. And then you've got public law, which, like I said, is the law of private individuals and the government, between private individuals and the government. So let's get this clear. We got three separate jurisdictions. And when people talk about, Article 1 courts and Article 2 courts and Article 3 courts, and, they took over all the courts, and how can I have a court? And heard nothing of the sort. We're talking about different jurisdictions. Now, Article 3 deals with, contracts and treaties, Article 3. Article 2 courts, military courts to deal with, military. You ever sign up for the military, you're not going to a regular court in a regular jail. You're going to a court martial, and then you're going to the brig, or, whatever they call it. Semper Fi, hoorah, I don't know. I'm just, them cats is cold, they raw, and I don't want no problems with it. I respect it, Break me down in like 4 seconds. You don't start problems with people like that. Why? Why would you do that? And then you got Article 1 courts, with the commercial courts, tribunals. It deals with, commerce, commercial contracts, implied contracts or express contracts. The express contracts would be like your lease for your apartment, or the place you're living in, or a mortgage. That's an express contract. An express contract is also in the public, what I'm talking about. It'd be like, the warranty deed for your property, the title to a vehicle. These are express contracts. They're substantive instruments, abstract titles, evidence, some sort of, constructive, construction of the mind, I guess, ultimately. But, I'm not trying to bug anyone out. But in commercial courts, we get into a jurisdiction that I'm going to tell you right now. If you listen to this, you got ears, you can hear this, you're dealing with vibrations. You are not, I repeat, not under the jurisdiction of commerce or contract. I was created by the Creator. The Creator, this energy gave to me. This life gave to me. This time gave to me. So when it breaks down to it, when I exchange my energy for Federal Reserve notes, yen, whatever, the bottom line is to me, I don't know about you, but to me, there is no tax owed on the exchange of my energy that was given me by the Creator. that is outside the jurisdiction of any nation created on earth, any construct created on earth, any governments. Why? Because they are not the creator. They weren't the ones, the United States wasn't the one who gave me my energy, gave me my life, that I could go anywhere, privately or publicly, in commerce and exchange that energy, that life, that spark of, of mind that I believe was given to me by, the creator. They didn't own it. They didn't endow me with it. Therefore, they cannot tax it. But the knowledge must be understood in order for us to be able to enforce what is being said, what we're being told, what we're telling each other, what we're reading, so on and so forth. So, is that your name? Is that your social security number? Before me, in my possession, physically, in my hands, I have so-called my birth certificate, so-called my social security number. It's a social security card. Piece of paper in the shape of a card. It's kind of flimsy. Let's start with this birth certificate. Yeah, that looks like my name. It's in all capital letters though. But that's Capitis Diminutia Maxima Capitas, Capitas, Diminutia, DiminUtia, Maxima, Maxima. If you misspell it, if I misspell it, the search engine should correct you. But that's for another time. It's got a date of birth, it's got a county, it's got a city or township, it's got parents, the long form, it's got, the hospital, so on and so forth. But, I can swear, I can tell you the truth, I can affirm, let me say that correctly. I can definitely affirm that at the top of this thing, it says the state of, then it says certification of vital record. Then it says birth certificate. But the biggest thing for me is it says the state of on top of here. Let's never mind in this one, where does it say? Pacific Banknote Company. So there's a banknote company that has something to do with it. The state of, there's a state seal. There's two of them actually, one on each bottom corner. The date filed, so the date it was filed was not the date that I was, born. That's interesting. So it seems as though it is dependent on me, the natural person, or the natural one. But it's got signatures on here. This is a state registrar. I don't know who that is. There's numbers on here. I didn't pick those. My mother didn't pick those. My father didn't pick those. State of, this state, that's not the state of my family, my private family. This would lead me to believe that this is not mine. I would say that I know the most about these specific information pieces on this document, off the top of my head, in conjunction with other things, so I have the highest claim due to that knowledge for the use of this certificate. But I understand trust law, and I understand what a certificate is. I understand banking. I understand what a certificate is. So there's a bunch of stuff. I'm just being very simple, very, very simple. There are multiple indicators on this document that lets me know that this was not created for me by my mother or my father, my grandmother, my grandfather. This is not private. At the top of it, it's plainly stating that it is the state of. State of California, state of New Jersey, state of. At the top, first thing on this thing, it's like, lets me know, puts me on notice. Certification of a vital record. So there's a vital record that's being certified. So this is a record, certification of a vital record. Okay, so what's the vital record? The record of a birth? The birth of what? A natural person? It's got some identifying information that is very, very familiar to me. I can say that. I'm familiar with the facts. But there's numbers on here I didn't pick. My mother didn't pick. My father didn't pick. Nobody picked. So this, I would tell you that this right here, this birth certificate, this is not mine. Therefore, this name on here, this is not my name. It looks remarkably similar to the name that I use, the name that I'm known as, the name my mother gave me, my father gave me, or one of the names that I use. One of the names I'm known as, Daddy. I'm known as, I'm not going to say it, friend. I'm known as, hey, homie. Hey, fam. I'll respond to that and say, hey, fam. I'll probably turn around. That's a name that, I consider, mine. I'm family. But, this name right here on the certificate, yeah. I'm familiar with this name. Is that your name? No. Nope. Why? Because I'm not lying, man. I'm not going to lie. Why? I feel like lying is an abrasion against, the book that I'm writing as I live. You know what I'm saying? The record that is being made by, me touching this earth. And I'm not going to blemish that record for anyone, anybody. I don't care how scary you look. You got guns, tasers, whatever. Is that your name? Hey, it looks a lot like my name. I'm not familiar with the state of and, these certificates and these seals and all these numbers enough to say that this is my name. Well, I can definitely tell you that it looks very, very similar, to a name that I use. A name that I'm known by. And these dates, I'm familiar with these dates too. Moving on to the Social Security number. Social Security card. It says Social Security at the top. It's a little card. First thing I see is Social Security, just like on the birth certificate, state of. This one says Social Security. There's a stamp in the middle, Social Security Administration. Okay, Social Security Administration, there's a number. This number has been established for, and here goes this all capital name again. That looks like mine. But I'll turn it over. First sentence I see on this thing, this card belongs to the Social Security Administration. You must return it if we ask for it. This isn't mine. If the card's not mine, how could the number be on it be mine? I'm just being serious. I'm not being pejorative. I'm not trying to be simple. I'm being absolutely serious. This is how I'm looking at this stuff. Have you used this? Yes, I have. Have you used it to do business? Yes, I have. Have you generated income with it? Yes, I have. Have you signed contracts using that name? Yes, I have. Is that your name? I'm not sure. I don't think so. I'm not familiar enough with, these documents and, the laws of these documents and the laws governing these documents or policies governing these documents with, that very familiar name on it to say that, that is my name. It looks very familiar. It looks very similar. I'm not going to say. I'm not going to. Why? I feel like I'm lying. The point I'm at, where I've been, privately educated and mentored to, I know this isn't my name. This isn't my birth certificate. This isn't my Social Security number. Just like when I go to the Secretary of State and organize an LLC, and I get the certificate of organization and the documents and Secretary of State and all that stuff, I can go open a bank account with that. That's not my company. That company belongs to the state of California, the state of Michigan, state of Utah. I understand that I have a specific benefit of administering that entity to receive whatever type of compensation that I am set forth with or set forth for myself. That is a state-created entity. I didn't create that. I registered with the state under state statutes. Your articles of organization, with a state seal on it. The seal is the Secretary of State. All right? And I get an EIN from a federal organization, the Internal Revenue Service. Articles of organization, certificate of organization, state seal on it, EIN, federal EIN, federal employee identification number. Go open a bank account, do business, title property, all that stuff. It's a legal person. What we skipped is the birth certificate has a state seal on it as well. It's just not the Secretary of State. It's the state registrar. Usually. We also using a federal identifying number. They just call it the federal Social Security number. Oh, so we missed that. 2 documents to do business: birth certificate, Social Security number. You need that. You need that birth certificate, copy of your birth certificate. You need a copy of your birth certificate and a copy of your Social Security card. And we can give you a state ID and your state driver's license. You sign here, you pay the fee, blah, blah, blah. You get a W-2 employee job. We don't need you copy your birth certificate. We don't need you to fill out the W-9, and we're going to need you need a copy of your Social Security number and a copy of your either a copy of your birth certificate, or we need a copy of your driver's license, which is an instrument that you used your birth certificate to get anyway. So we know you got your birth certificate. The driver's license is how they tricked us. So, is that your name? Is that your Social Security number? I don't know. If you say it is, then it is. I'm not going to argue with you. No one in the public is going to argue with you. It is. If you believe it is, you come under the jurisdiction of the state legislation, because that's a state birth certificate. So the state gotcha. State has jurisdiction if you're using that name and you're identifying to that. Title and property, probate, creditors, litigation, all types of stuff. Social Security number is a federal EIN. As far as I'm concerned, it has the same amount of numbers as an EIN, a foreign EIN, a non-EIN. It has the same amount of numbers. It just has an extra dash in a different place. That, to me, is kind of insulting to me. But it's real. They just threw an extra dash in the Social Security number, or took a dash out of the EIN. I don't know which one came first. Probably, I would be willing to bet that the corporate EIN came first. And then they just shuffled in all the individuals, to quote individuals, into the same system. How many numbers in your Social Security number? You have a company EIN, a corporate EIN. You have a 9-8 number. Count those numbers. Count them. Oops. Tell me something. On a checkbook, if you have a checkbook for your name, you have a checking account in your name, right? Okay, so pull out the checkbook. Most people don't even use the checkbook anymore. And that's a shame. Because, But if you have a checkbook, your wife has a checkbook, your mom has a checkbook, you got some old ones laying around or something, look at your checkbook from your checking account. The line that you sign on is not a line. The line that you sign on is not a line. The line that you sign on is not a line. It is microprint. It says authorized signature or authorized representative signature or authorized something over and over and over and over and over again. That's why you're signing on the dotted line, because it's microprint. You don't even understand that signature that you're signing is authorizing stuff of that entity that you think is your name. You're the only one that can authorize it. Why? Because you will fight for that name. Anybody come and try to steal your identity and take your credit score, you're gonna press charges, you're gonna show up, you're gonna put in you're gonna be in the witness box like, yep, it was him, and he had my credit card and my ID, and he went and tried to buy some Burberry, and I gotta feed my kids. You're gonna testify all that. You don't understand? If we just sit back and look at how fiercely we fight for our name, our birth certificates, our social security numbers, how fiercely we protect this entity. They don't need to really protect it. Anything anything wrong with it, you're going to protect it. You're going to bring actions into the court, and then they're going to just, follow procedure, their administrative procedures to get this stuff done. And if you don't know how to do it, they got attorneys and lawyers that'll charge a fee to get you through the process. Bottom line is, I exist in natural law. That you ask me where I live, and I'm not being slick. I'm going to tell you I live inside my body. I live inside this physical flesh that I'm going to brush off when I pass out of here. I'm going to just dust it off and split. That's where I live. I don't say I live in a house at 30 to 40 million. That's a resident. I don't reside. I'm not a resident. I parlay. No, I'm just playing. But, y'all understand what I'm saying, right? I reside inside my body. I may lay my head from time to time, at this spot, or this spot. Or I may lay my head predominantly at this spot, but I may at any point in time fly to Acapulco and never come back. I'm a resident of the earth. This is how they get us. Substantive law, contract law, law of substance. This is where you get your 9-8 numbers, This is the easiest way for me to, associate this on this, what I would call a program. Substantive law. This is the law of contracts, contract jurisdiction. We would call Article 3. You know there's Article 3. The contract specifically invokes certain jurisdictions. If you know what you're doing your dance. You operating properly in your proper natural capacity. You're using specific instrumentalities to conduct commercial affairs, man, or contractual affairs, sister. In a inferior jurisdiction. Contract jurisdiction is inferior to me, to the jurisdiction that I exist in. I don't walk around in contracts. I don't be jumping in the pool of contracts. I don't breathe contracts. This realm where I exist is a three-dimensional physical existence. Contracts do not exist in 3 dimensions. They're 2. Paper is 2-dimensional. It's an inferior jurisdiction. Stories of my life can exist on paper, but my life will never, ever be able to exist on paper my entire life. Contract jurisdiction is inferior to the jurisdiction that I exist in. Please understand what I'm saying, y'all. Commercial jurisdiction, commerce, that created of legislation of an act by Congress, a creature of the law. Commercial contracts, commercial entities. That's the only way under public law is the only way. A contract, they can have jurisdiction over us, the natural. When we unwittingly and ignorantly execute inferior contracts from an inferior mental position. The government can deal with us if we contract with the government. We can reduce ourselves to commercial jurisdiction, 2 reductions away from our natural jurisdiction, our natural realm. But the commerce cannot jump up into our realm. We must go down into it. We must reduce our thoughts to paper, which is a contract. In my mind, I'm thinking, hey, man, if you give me $5, I will mow your lawn. I say it orally. You agree. I put it on a piece of paper. I can produce my thoughts onto, a piece of paper. But you cannot produce me from that piece of paper. Now, that's really where I'm sticking. And I'm going to keep it that simple. So when I'm asked, if I'm ever asked, do I have a Social Security number? I'll be very specific. I'm a stickler for specificity. And I say no. Do you have it? No, I don't. I wasn't born with a Social Security number tattooed on my leg. The Creator didn't put me here with a Social Security number. I don't have a Social Security number. At times, I may have in possession a Social Security card that has a Social Security number on it. But possession of that card and me having or owning that number is 2 different things. The right to use that number in commerce, due to lack of understanding, is mine. But do I have it? Do I own it? Is it mine? Is the actual number mine, or is the right to use it mine? Is the birth certificate mine, or is the claim on it mine and the right to use it in commerce mine? Very, 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 very specific. Where do I reside? I reside in my body. Are you being smart? I don't know what do you mean by being smart? I don't think you can be smart. I think you can either are or are not smart. Specific rules and laws with regards to grammar and communication are important to me. Your address, I'll give them the address. I know what they're talking about. And your Social Security number. I don't have a Social Security number. It's illegal for a U.S. citizen to not give the Social. I'm not a U.S. citizen. What are you? Citizen of what? I'm a citizen of the world. I'm a child of God. And my name's not on that Constitution. I didn't sign the Constitution. I didn't sign an oath of office. I didn't sign none of that. I fall under your laws because I follow natural law. And pretty much that keeps me cool with all of y'all. As far as, the driver's license, as far as I'm concerned, that's threat, duress, and coercion. But through my understanding of administration, the understanding of the difference between a public entity and a private entity, my understanding that when you're doing business in a commercial realm, I don't care what country you're in, it's all about the entity. There are specific private entities that are recognized to do business in over 100 countries according to the Hague Convention. And if you have a choice to exchange your energy and your time on this earth that you will never get back, your energy and your time, for any type of currency or whatever, do you feel that energy should be taxed by an inferior being than the one that was created or that created you? Me personally, I don't. Absolutely not. I'll take hell no for 100 bill. Excuse my language. Now, is natural, is private. Sounds good. Sounds good. Am I going to get my head busted in? No. You understand there are commercial contracts and private contracts. We let go of the Social Security number and we let go of that all capital name entity. It is a state entity. And you attach that Social Security number to it. Now that entity is joinder with federal statutes and laws with regards to a Social Security Act. You ever read the Act? If you read the Act, did you see an exactions of all kinds? You know what the legal definition of exactions is? Y'all understand what I'm saying? I'm a seeker of truth. I study so heavy. Read the Social Security Administration Act and see if you don't eventually come up to a sentence where they talk about exactions of all kinds. It's a state entity. It says the state of on the top. It's got the state seal on it. It's got the signature from the state registrar. None of that is your private family. And we clutching to this birth certificate. We clutching to this entity. Clutching to the Social Security number. Clutching to this W-2 employee status. Clutching to these other people's corporations. And giving them the best hours of our day and the majority hours of our weeks and a good amount of hours of our life, and don't have no control. You can get fired at any point in time. There's no control. I'm the CEO of a corporation that I don't own. There's no way that I can hand that position of CEO down to my son, down to my daughter. And linebacker tackle anyone who tries to stop something like that. Nope, that doesn't happen. I don't own the corporation. I'm out of there. And she got to fend for herself. It's all about going private from what I'm over talking about. But the fundamental understanding is it's all about the entity. And the principle to what I'm getting into this evening is that your name? Is that your Social Security number? It's all about the entity. What entity are you using to generate income with in the public? Is it public entity that you do not control? Can you go pass some legislation to change how tax laws are being? Can you go pass the legislation to change what the expenses are, allowable expenses are for your business, for your sole proprietor? Can you go pass some legislation to say that 100% of the profits of the taxable income can be distributed, therefore avoiding legally any taxation with the social? Nah, that doesn't happen. It's not going to happen. It will never happen. LLC is the same way. You can love Trump or hate Trump, but if you got an LLC, you lower the taxes for the business that you're operating. If you're about to open your own LLC, your corporation, he just made it easier for you to bring home extra money. I don't like to do it. I think he's a buffoon. I think he's weird. I think he's funny. It's obvious he had like scalp reduction surgery, so they like cut some of the scalp out and pulled it together so his hair can look whatever. You know, he's a special man. He's a very, very individual person. He's a unique, you know, bless his heart. Bless his heart. But with the right information, applying correct information correctly, the public recognizes the private. It recognizes privacy. You can do business without divulging private information. It's easy. You can walk into the Secretary of State with a postal money order and organize a corporation under the state and not show your identification. You can obtain an EIN number from the IRS and not give them a United States Social Security number. From what I understand, it's becoming more and more difficult, but it is absolutely possible. I've done it numerous times. You can stop using the social. You ain't got to use it to generate income. So therefore, the income tax of the individual does not apply to the income being generated. We're talking about the income tax of the corporation, the 1120. We're talking about the income tax of the trust, the 1041. Contract trust is created by contract, not by legislation. It does not owe its existence to legislation. Therefore, it is not governed by legislation. Stated numerous times by the Supreme Court. You have the common law right to contract unlimited. Common law trust, I think that is an oxymoron. That's a play on words. That's buffoonery. Completely. So the contract is the law. The contract governs. Whatever the contract says, that's what it is. And that's 100. I'm going to go to the phone lines, man, in a minute. And I know, I'm a little long-winded this evening. But, I definitely want to be clear. I definitely want to keep it relevant. And I definitely want to, let everyone know, all my family know, brothers, sisters, that this is definitely a fundamental principle that is required with regards to the foundation of your private understanding. It's all about the entity. You will never exist in commerce. You can be represented in commerce, but if you can be represented in commerce, that means you can control the representatives. Now, are you being represented in commerce by a trust that you control or some sort of legislative entity that you do not? And that's the main thing. It doesn't boil down to anything beyond that. Anything. Are you using a public entity, a nonprofit, an LLC, a corporation, a limited partnership, a limited liability company, which is an LLC, a partnership, a public charity, a hospital, a university. These are all public entities. They owe their existence to legislation. The all capital name, the so-called straw man, your name, your so-called name, is a public entity. You disagree? I would love you to call in 424-222-5250. I would love to hear how I'm wrong. And I'm not being weird. I'm being absolutely true. And that's absolutely honest. I love being wrong because that means I'm learning something. But the fundamental understanding of public and private really is reduced to the fundamental understanding of public entities and private entities, or public or private instrumentalities used to do business in an inferior jurisdiction, commercial jurisdiction. You play Monopoly, you don't put your feet on the board, man. It's too small. We can't stand on the board. And all of us play Monopoly, the four of us. It's not going to work. That's why they use the little tokens, the little car and the top hat and the little cowboy, whatever dude. It's an instrumentality used to play the game. We got to understand the rules to the game. Big brother Yusuf put us on, right? Is that your name? Is that your social security number? I'm going to keep asking the question. It's an instrumentality of commercial slavery. Both of them. Everybody's in it. So-called black people, let's say you believe that. And then black people, Africans were slaves. So-called Africans were slaves and blah. Okay, so if you could have African slaves and that's acceptable, why wouldn't you want to have all European slaves, Caribbean slaves, African slaves, Colombian slaves, Indian slaves, Native American slaves, all the slaves? How can you do that without everybody putting up a big fuss and a fight? How can you enslave everyone? Everyone. You possibly can. Get everyone in this system and tax their energy. Oh, man. It's called commercial slavery, man. It's simple. Let's get them to think that this is them, this entity is them. They'll become a surety or a bondsman for it. If they go against the laws of their creator, they're beasts, and we can just treat them however we want to treat them anyway. Because they're heathens, they're godless. It's all bad. 424-222-5250. This is very, very important. Once you understand that that is not your name and that is not your social security number, you will start making steps and taking steps to affect positive change, not only in your personal life, but also in your family life, your beneficiary's life, your loved one's life, your pet's life. And the value of your life that you're exchanging for these so-called currency notes to acquire assets, whether they appreciate or depreciate, it's on you. Fundamentally, that's it. 424-222-5250, 563-999-3625. Phone lines are open, y'all. We got about 8 minutes left in the stream because I was running my mouth. We got a lot of people on the switchboard this evening, though. So if you, we're going to stream a little bit. So if you're on the internet or anything, you might want to call in because in less than 7.5 minutes, you're going to get cut off. All right. Go to the phone lines. I think that's it. I'm trying to think. Like, do I want to say anything else? Not really. Besides, is that your name? Is that your social security number? Is it? Do you understand jurisdiction a little better? And now, like, that wasn't all encompassing. And it was my rendition. But, like, I'm trying to bridge the gap between these cats out here talking like they straight up wrote a law dictionary and they wrote all these statutes, and we don't know what, man, Fran, what are you talking about? It take me 30 minutes to get through 15 seconds of what this dude's saying, because I got to stop, rewind, look it up, stop, look. I'm trying to bridge the gap from all that to, regular speak so that I understand. I could be walking down the street, and be standing at a corner, and it's a red light, I'm waiting for the walk. You're waiting for the walk. You just break it down for me. As you're walking across the street, I say cool. You say peace. We walk on our separate ways. So, I hope and I trust that, that's what I was able to do this evening. Was kind of bring a little clarity to jurisdiction that you didn't have before. Really. You can never exist in commercial jurisdiction. You can only be the bondsman or the surety for a commercial entity. By contract. A very, very silly contract that is as well. But the bottom line is, we either come from informed families or uninformed families. If you look at this document, they usually wait at least 7 days. 5 to 7 days before they file this birth certificate. So, if there was notices given to the public that there was no need for this specific entity, there's a private entity that is going to be created for this individual, this person, this natural being to administer upon, it's time to enter the commercial arena. Who knows if this thing will be issued or if it will be issued in the same form. But it's all contingent on actions that happen in the natural world. So regardless of when the certificate is filed, it's filed after the birth. And regardless, when the certificate is filed, it's filed after the death. So things have to happen in the natural world for them to be signified in this commercial jurisdiction. I hope y'all understand what I'm saying. I'm trying to bring it to you. It's all love. We got less than 4 minutes. 424-222-5256. I'm going to bring in the callers. Let me go to the switchboard. Give me 1 second because, you know, the switchboard is, it's you know, finicky. It's a finicky switchboard. It likes to do what it likes to do. I already see him. Okay, it's working. I'm going to bring in my guy, Brian, from the Bay. Biggity Brian from the Bay.
How you doing?
Peace, fam. What's going? Good, fam. How you doing?
Not much, man. All right. Just came to support. So
appreciate you.
What you're saying makes sense. People understand what's going on. I mean, they have to control the source of income, so they make something so they can control it. You've been taught that is yours since day one, so you know that's the only way they could kind of, in a way, tax or control that money that goes through, because they need that. And if you, like you say, you create your own stuff, you probably be able to rock on a different level where you don't have to deal with some of the stuff that they have set up, so they can be able to make money from.
Right. I mean, it's really the only way they're able to tax your labor, you know? That's it.
Yeah, and I know I was reading something about the name. They were talking about, you know, we taught as grade school, you got to spell your name with a capital, and then everything is lowercase. And they said that's the proper way to spell your name. But why is that you see bills and stuff, they're all capital? That's not a proper way to spell a person's name. So, you know, just think about it in that way, too. Like, why is it not spelled lowercase? All that information like that. So, you know, it's there if you want to see it.
Right. Man, you know, some people don't want to see it. I understand. You know, a lot of people have a lot invested in the public. And, you know,
I mean, that's like being taught since you were day one, that's you. So it's kind of hard for people to break something that they've been taught since day one. That's the way I kind of feel like it's hard for people to realize that they might teach you the way they want to teach you so they could be able to control you. So.
Yeah, like I say, I like to say it all the time. The public is never going to teach against itself. It's never going to do that. I've never really seen it.
All right. That's all I got to say,
and
man.
All the real,
here to support that.
I appreciate you, man. I really appreciate you calling in, man. Yeah, I'll be talking to you soon, right?
Yeah.
All right. At least on, you know, trustee training.
Yeah. I didn't say nothing. You said it this time.
Man, I don't care. I'm done. I'm done.
All right.
I amended the contract. I called the meeting of trustees, amended the contract. So, you know, there's certain stuff that can be disclosed at this point.
All right, sir.
But no, I appreciate you calling in, man. All clown on the side, man.
Hey.
And yeah, man, thanks for always supporting, man. It's a big deal to me.
Gotcha.
All right, fam, yo, peace. Enjoy yourself. Talk to you soon.
All right.
Man, this thing is acting weird. I'm trusting y'all can hear me. Peace, brother Darrell. How you doing?
I'm all right, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing well, brother.
So, can you hear me?
I'm doing well.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. I'm not gonna stay on long, but what I think what you were saying. I think, my all caps name, make that the corporation, and then my other name that they say is mine, I'll just pass them taxes off. And my, my W-9, I'll just pass that off to my all caps name and do like that, But I'm glad everything is all right, I figured that's what you were saying tonight, and what you've been saying for the longest, how we can pass things off, or, always pass taxes off. So that's what, I'm going to do. I think that's what, I'm getting it. I'll be in the classes soon. Hopefully, I hope before like March. But anyway, I'm going to let you take the next caller. You stay well. I'm all right,
You doing good?
Okay.
How you healing, man?
Oh, yeah, I'm doing good like that. I'm doing good. Everything is all right.
Everything's all right.
And I figure the same thing is with you too. You all right, right? You and family,
yeah,
right?
I'm doing well, man. I have no complaints, man. I'm a very, very, very blessed individual. Very,
That's good. And you make sure you stay that way. You and all your loved ones.
Yes, indeed. And yeah, man. Stay up, man. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for calling in. And have a great week,
I appreciate you too, man. All right, you too, man. Love you, man. I'm gonna let you take the next call.
Love you too, man.
All right.
All right. Peace. Push the button. I think this is my guy Mellow Bay. And then I'm gonna get out of here. But I still love you.
Peace.
Mellow.
Indeed, brothers. Indeed. Can you hear me, brother?
Yeah, family. How you doing?
Are we clear? I'm good.
Yeah.
Are we clear?
Yes, sir.
Great. I just want to say, man, it's always therapeutic to come on to the foundation, brother, because without the foundation, it lacks purpose for us to build. There would be no ideal or fundamental in building or topic or even notion to build if we didn't have the notion to know what a foundation is, how to get it started, how to mature our foundation so it can be productive and grown and well and secure and take care of the family, estate, and heirs. So definitely, brother, I give thanks to the foundation, man. I mean, I'm unsure about others, but, I'm well thankful because it just encourages self to know that you are a natural being. You should maneuver and eat and think and maneuver within that natural, position and status. And it should be your right or your decision upon if you want to maneuver in any other fashion, per se, in any other entity or whatnot. That should be your right. So, and it shouldn't be pushed upon you or leaned against you or claimed on you or nothing. So, I really appreciate what you bring, brother, every time, always. It's fruitful, it's foodful, it's healthy, it's nutritious. And, brother, I just really want to tell others, man, they need to build with you. They need to get with the foundation. They ain't made a move yet. They need to get on it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just, I'm looking to, do something every week, bro. So, execution is definitely, is the focal point when actually applying this information. So thank you for everything you do throughout, Thank you, and, appreciate the trustees that build with you and continue to manage their affairs and learn how to administrate as well, how to administrate and govern your existence, family. That's what it's about, So get familiar with the paperwork. Don't get caught up in it, but get familiar with it, utilize it, So it's good, bro. It's definitely good, man. And salutes, I don't want to hold it too long, but it's only so much we can say because it's time within a time. So it's all gravy, bro. But we out here. I'm out here, man. We live in testaments, and assets, and we the biggest assets. When it comes to trust, we are our biggest assets. Never forget that. But definitely though, bro. Give thanks to you, the ancestors that came before you, all the ancestors that were responsible for you, for your vessels, for every atom in your body, the thought process that you put down, the energy that you convert your energy into doing the works and the services. You know what I'm saying? So that's just definitely what it is, man. And I'm more thorough by the day, bro. I get thorough by the day. You know, we take notes, we jump in the archive, we apply, we meet back up. You know what I'm saying? So I plan on meeting you soon, though, brother. You know what I'm saying? I got some obstacles to hurdle over, but ain't no thing, though. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Small thing to a God. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, small thing to a giant. Yeah, true indeed, man. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate the words, appreciate the love, appreciate the loyalty. And, you know, definitely appreciate the work. You know, keep it up. I'm with you. And, you know, definitely thanks for calling in, man. Have a wonderful week. And, you know, I'll definitely get with you soon.
That'll work. Indeed, bro.
All right, peace.
Peace to God. Peace.
All right, y'all, that's it. I know, man. Y'all gotta push one to speak with the host so I can see that you know when you wanna come on the line and talk. Y'all gotta do it earlier because all this last minute stuff, and plus I went over. You know me, I'm always, or you know, usually when I go over, I'm mildly concerned with getting cut off. Bottom line is, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. You're the reason why I do this every single week. You're the reason why, you know, I grind, you know, and, you know, I was talking to one of my partners today, and I was saying that, you know, I'm feeling really good. You know, it's 2018, it's February, and I'm feeling very good. Where I'm at right now has been a culmination of like 7 years' work, and I'm just going to tell you the truth. I was very successful in a place of success, and, you know, I would say specifically, I realized this when I was in the south of France on a boat the size of a mansion. That was you know, docked behind the event center where I was performing at these music awards. And I said that, you know, I definitely want to be doing this type of business. I just want to be doing this type of business with my people. And from that day, about 7-8 years ago to now, I'm starting to get the feeling, and I was telling my guy, that I'm starting to feel like I'm really starting to build with my people. I'm starting to make advances with my people who look like me, talking big plans, big things, you know, big movements, big business, big contracts. And I'm not saying it's just people that look like me, people who think like me, people who talk like me, people who understand me and understand where I come from and where I'm coming from. And that's a really, really good feeling. You know, it really is. And that's really, as selfish as it may sound, and some of y'all may say, like, you're not selfish at all. But, you know, I like supreme selfish. If you're very selfish, you take care of you and everybody around you. And in that manner, you know, I understand and I feel y'all around me. I really do. And I just want to take care of y'all. So this right here, the foundation, is my charity. I get this out every single week. My charity and what I put out to help my people, and I'm not specifically just talking skin color either, to help my people move on to the next level. Because there's always going to be people who aren't going to care about this information. There's always going to be people who are going to need to be governed. I don't care what you say. It's been, societies have been going on for a long time, and there's always be those, and always will be those that govern. And there always will be those that governed. But what they don't tell you is there's always those who aren't governed and who do not govern, but they're private estate. So let's get over there. Let's understand it. Let's deal with it. Bottom line, the foundation is, you know, for me, we need to get into the position to where we understand that these are just entities. And it's the entity that we choose to use that's going to determine, you know, any, you know, taxation, peace of mind, whatever. And to let go of the possessiveness of this name and this entity. And also to understand jurisdictions. So my goal is to have you be your best. And whatever I can do to help, whatever I'm at your service. A workman is worthy of their hire. But you definitely need to get into this trustee training. You definitely need to hit me up and get a consultation. You definitely need to email me at admin@welcometothefoundation.com. you definitely need to go to the website, welcometothefoundation.com. At the very least, sign up for the email list. So that way, at the very least, you'll know when the shows are coming on. You can check out the shows. But bottom line is, it's advancement. It's all about advancement. It's all about the generational wealth, multi-generational wealth, the passing on and the creating of something larger than oneself. And doing that with love, pure intention, a true and noble cause, and a dance that is unparalleled, baby. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for checking me out. Make sure you go to welcometothefoundation.com and, check out the PDFs. Sign up for the email list, obviously. You want to get, a consultation. I'm here for you. We'll get it set up. And, let's just keep pushing. Let's just keep moving forward. Let's just keep working. And let's just keep advancing. Let's just keep making these moves. That's all we really can do. And that's all we can really be expected. Whether those moves are perfect or not, hey, it's a move, baby. What? So with that being said, just let's come to a better understanding. Let's help each other. Let's take care of ourselves and take care of those around us. Most importantly, you know what I want you to do. I want you to enjoy yourself. Thanks for checking it out. HighFrequencyRadioNetwork.com. Thanks for checking out the show, The Foundation. I am your host, So L, Seeker of Truth L, Speaker of Truth L. I love you. Peace to the gods.
Doing this thing all the way live. High Frequency Radio.